Nate Burleson's a busy guy. NFL Christmas Game Day, and that'll be on Netflix. So you'll be in the booth for the Cowboys and the Commanders. And, these games sound good when the season comes out, Nate, where you go, man, Cowboys and the Commanders here. All right, let me hear you sell it.
Well, listen, you're right. Initially, they reached out and they said, this is going to be the Cowboys, Commanders on Christmas Day. I'm thinking, we got an NFC East rivalry. This is going to be one of the biggest games of the year. Dak Prescott, they're fighting for a chance to make a Super Bowl run. Jaden Daniels riding everybody, just how good he is at the quarterback position. Great defenses and offenses. It's not a checkers game. It's chess. All of the good things that we like to say in sports. And then it falls off the rails. The Cowboys have another year of disappointment and not being contenders. And then just injuries decimated this Commanders team. But here's the thing. It still is a rivalry game. And you have a couple of cool people in the booth with a bunch of people surrounding the game. We are going to have fun. It's Christmas Day. We're going to talk X's and O's, stories about pros. And the reality is, football always finds a way of making itself entertaining, even if the playoff implications aren't there. Listen, we got a ton of stuff we could talk about. Christmas movies, Christmas Day routines. We can talk about being in the playoffs versus booking your vacation. I think Matt, Ryan, and I were on the set yesterday trying to figure out who we're going to put in our all-Christmas team. Who's Santa, who's Rudolph, down the line. We got a ton of stuff to fill time if the game doesn't give us the entertainment we need. But I have a feeling that Cowboys Commanders is going to be plenty of the entertainment we will need.
Yeah, so Cowboys Commanders at 1 Eastern with Ian Eagle and Matt Ryan. Then it's the Lions and the Vikings. Pregame begins at 11 a.m. Eastern on Netflix.
Those two matchups sounded really good a few months ago, right?
I'm still trying to figure out how the official says touchdown and then says however. Okay, so help me understand that in the Lions-Steelers game where it's not a touchdown because there was a penalty, so why would you start with your ruling, calling it a touchdown, and then saying, but there was pass interference, no touchdown, game over, drive home safely?
Yeah, see, I listen, man, let's keep it real. This is what I like to keep it real with you. I was drafted by the Vikings playing in the NFC North. Went to Seattle for 4 years, right? And then I had an opportunity to sign another deal. So I went to Detroit. And I remember when I got there, guys were scoring. They were like, look, the league doesn't like us. And Nate, playing here is rough. Not just because we're trying to exercise demons, but when a game is on the line, it tends to go the other way.
Why?
And I'm like, no. I've been in the league for 7 years now. And I get it. There's some close calls, but football is football, right? And they're like, no, Nate, I don't think you understand it. When it comes to the Lions, there are certain games that just don't go our way, even though everybody knows they should. Now, I remember questioning that, doubting that. And then one year we open up in Chicago. It's a close game. Those division games are really like two. And it's the Lions versus the Bears. We're in Chicago. Last minute, Hail Mary throw up to Calvin Johnson. He catches it. He has it in one hand, palming it with his big old mitts. He slides on the hip. He even has like an elbow down. And then he goes to get up on both hands, and one still has the ball in it. And he just pushes himself up off the ground and he lets the ball go. Even the Chicago Bears were dapping us up saying, hey, good game, man. Good game. Yeah, y'all won that one. We'll see y'all a little later on, in Detroit. And as the rest are sitting there meeting with each other, we're sitting back thinking, what the hell are you meeting about? Game over. That's the catch. We're 1-0 right now. Sure enough, they come back. They look at the cameras and they say, incomplete pass, game over. I was blown away. I really was. And I can't help but to think about all of these moments throughout Detroit Lions history where our eyes see one thing, but then the reality is something else. Now, Amon-Ra, he extended fully on that one by the goal line. I think 9 times out of 10, they're looking for that full extension. They're going to call that. But the touchdown before that, though, where they call it a pick play, but the DB pushed it, I believe it was Tesla, pushed him. Smart play by the DB, by the way, because if you push a guy into somebody else, you lose balance. The key is when you're running a pick play, you're swimming over the guy, you're running through the guy, you're making a move to make it seem like you're running a route. I think the DB recognized that and was like, I'm going to shove him, throw him off balance. Now I'm off balance. I'm just trying to stay up. It looks like I'm leaning one way or the other, and it looks like a pick play. But I still think that was a perfectly executed play, touchdown by the Lions, game over. But here we are again, another example of how we think one thing and the refs call another.
Okay, wait, Nate. You actually thought that the NFL had something against the Lions?
People that played for the players that played for the Lions said that to me. And I thought to myself, nah, that can't be. And then when they took that catch away from Calvin, a lot of Lions fans and Bears fans and people that just love, big plays by Calvin Johnson, they remember this play. He caught that damn ball. I don't care what anybody says. The whole, back then it was like the action of the catch. You got to catch it, go to the ground and get up and then walk to the locker room, take a shower, then take the bus home and the flight and then bury it in the backyard. Yeah, I just feel like that catch right there was a catch, and that it left a sour taste in my mouth. Listen, the cookie's going to crumble one way or the other. I just felt like we weren't getting, our crumbs.
And that changed football. It
really did.
That whole complete the process nonsense. I mean, you're an ex-wide receiver. I can't imagine, even that play with the Ravens where, you got two steps, and the football move is to have the ball away from that is a football move.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. What would you teach? You have to overcatch now, it feels like.
You have to overcatch. Listen, I feel bad for pass catchers and DBs in particular because, one, pass catchers, we have to focus on, which we're supposed to, we get paid to, catch the ball, figure out a way to tuck it away before it gets punched out because the peanut punch has become wildly popular. Instead of going for the tackle, guys are just going for the ball. So catch, tuck away, snug away from the DB, and then get 1, 2, 3. It's not just 1, 2, it's 1, 2, 3. And to be honest, hold on to that thing until the whistle blows. Don't let it go. Don't allow the DB to play with it after the whistle because they might take it away. And then on the flip side, I feel bad for some of these DBs, even linebackers. A guy catches a ball, and then he's basically figuring out what his aim point is going to be. I'm going to take your shoulder, and I'm going to shove it right into your sternum. I'm going to hit you in the shoulder. I'm going to hit you in the upper region. Shoot, I might try to take out one of your ribs, but I'm using my shoulder, old school football. A lot of guys, when they catch the rock, they see that, and then they crouch. I'm not going to call it cower, but they crouch down, which lowers the level of their helmet. So now you might have been aiming for this right here, my chest, shoulder, maybe even my rib. But if I see you and I don't want to take that shot and I crouch down, now I'm putting my helmet in a place where you weren't intending to hit. And all of a sudden it's targeting. Man, I feel bad for these dudes trying to tackle right now. And then if you're going low and taking out people's cleats or knees, now all of a sudden you're looked at as a guy who doesn't want to go up top. So you're stuck. You're really stuck. So I just feel like there's some rules that we still got to tweak a little bit without making the game softer, as some traditionalists would like to say.
Nate Burleson, NFL Today on CBS, and you can see him on Netflix. That'll be on Christmas Day, NFL Christmas Game Day. He'll be in the booth, Cowboys and the Commanders. But you bring up that punch-out. That's a violent, I can punch you as hard as I want in the arm and say I'm going for the ball. Correct?
No doubt.
I can violently hit you.
You can aim just about anywhere. Like you can wink, wink, miss and hit a guy in his nuggets. You can hit him in his stomach. You can even, hit him in his arm and bruise it up. But it's a play that I think if you're doing it with intentionality, not to hurt the ball carrier, I don't mind it at all. You know what I mean? I think it's one of the smartest plays in football. Listen, if your team is going to rally to the rock, that means the first guy there can take that guesstimation, that risk to go for the ball. And if I miss, the troops are coming behind me.
I'm going to make you make a pick in the AFC right now, today.
All right, let's do it.
Who you got?
The Buffalo Bills. I believe that even when they win ugly, they're still victories. And we've seen them win big, and we see them put up points. They're anchored by a fantastic running game with James Cook. And then when Josh Allen wants to be a running back, he can. He can make any throw in the book. The passing game might not be as prolific as some others in the league, but they run through their tight ends. The passing game grows through their tight ends. And their defense, they're true bend but don't break. I know it's cliche, but they are that. Also, let's just talk about like X factors or non-X factors being in their way. This might be the best path that Josh Allen has ever had to face. We're talking possibly no Lamar, right? It looks like they're on the outside looking in. No Joe Burrow, no Patrick Mahomes. If not now, then when? Now, I'm not knocking Bo Nix. I am also not knocking Drake May. And I am for sure not knocking Trevor Lawrence because he might be playing the best football out of all quarterbacks right now. But if you're not facing that big three of Mahomes, Burrow, and Jackson, I think Josh Allen has to really take this team and look at them and say, listen, we are facing some young guys who have not been in this position. They don't know what it's like to, one, close out a season, let alone fight for an AFC title game. So let's take advantage of the fact that we have been there. We know what this feeling is like to be in the postseason. Oh, and more importantly, we know what it's like to go home after the AFC Championship game and then have to watch the rest of the Super Bowl week with, you know, the everyday civilian that doesn't play football. So I just feel like this is, I won't call it the path of least resistance because that will be dismissive to the Broncos, Patriots, and Jags. I just feel like this is the best path that Bills fans in this Bills team has ever seen to a Super Bowl run.
Give me your NFC pick before you got to go.
This is tough, man. I'm torn. It's like I'm torn between, you know, two X's. You know, and they both fine, and we had good times. You know, listen, and those two X's are for two different reasons. The Seattle Seahawks, because I played for them, and I'm from Seattle, and you have to respect the record, and also beating the Rams. Speaking of the Rams, Matt Stafford, like that's my former quarterback. So essentially, the Rams are my X2, and I just feel like it's funny because we saw that game, right? And it was a big time game on Thursday. And we're all thinking this is going to help us decide who we have faith in the NFC, not just the NFC West. Seattle wins. And people are like, yeah, but I still trust the Rams. And you know, and I get it. There's question marks about how for real Seattle is. I think there's also question marks how Sam Darnold will finish the season and show up in the postseason. I just think these two teams, one of them will represent the NFC. And I know everybody's saying, well, what about the Eagles, Nate? They're figuring it out. Yeah, they are, but, you know, I'm biased.
Okay, in the final 15 seconds, the Rams walk into a party and Seattle walks into a party. Which one are you taking home?
How many drinks have I had? Because it might be both.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, man. Thank you, man. You guys do an awesome job.
Thank you, bud. That's Nate Burleson, NFL Christmas Game Day. It'll be live on Netflix. They got the Cowboys Commanders, followed by the Lions and the Vikings. Pre-game coverage at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll take a break. Last call for phone calls, what we learned, what's in store tomorrow, this day in sports history, right after this.